Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again. Another reaction for you guys. Take us, of course, to continue the journey of Transformers Prime. This is Season 1, Episode 16, Operation Breakdown. Now, I think Breakdown is one of the names of the Decepticons. Not 100% sure, but I'm like, okay, Operation Breakdown. Alright, we'll see what happens. Last week's episode is something that I thought would just never happen in the show. But then again, this show has proven that it's going to throw storylines and concepts that I never thought could happen, so I shouldn't be too surprised last week when the kids and the zombie that was brought back, I forget the character's name, that Starscream brought back with Dark Energon, were stuck in sort of alternative dimension, and they had to figure a way to get a hold of Ratchet, Bulkhead, and all of them through Miko's cell phone to tell them we're here but not here. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought some sort of alternate reality that they're somehow in? Who would have thought that this show would cover that? But then again, you just never know. I think at this point, I shouldn't be too surprised at what they're going to throw at us. So I'm curious to see what this episode's about in regards to Operation Breakdown, that title. Not really sure what to expect, but I'm excited and I'm enjoying the show and I'm having a good time watching the show. So let's continue the journey. Let's see what happens next, guys. Let's go.
Bulkhead. Imagine you and I bumping
okay,
into each
yeah.
other in the middle of nowhere. Well,
All right.
that's human.
Oh, the spin. Damn. What? Wait a minute. I should have guessed as soon as the helicopter showed up. Oh my god.
Sir?
He's gone. Taken.
Engaging the enemy on your own was foolish, Bulkhead.
Breakdown jumped me. When I came to, Breakdown was just gone.
I fear Breakdown has gone missing.
The
True.
Autobots.
We assemble a rescue team to hunt the vermin responsible for this outrage.
If Breakdown allowed himself to be captured by those smaller than him,
Then.
weaker than him,
Oh shit. Experiments or something, maybe. Surprised they're able to hold him, to be honest.
I'm afraid you are far too valuable to us.
Megatron will never pay a ransom.
We don't want a ransom. We
No.
want only you.
Exactly you.
All of you.
Mech? You mean those techie guys?
Yeah. I'm glad they're back, though. Human villains and everything.
we will rescue Breakdown.
So, wow. Okay.
Optimus, you can't be serious.
We must rise above ourselves for the greater good.
Yeah.
Well, what's
Something
that
Optimus
supposed
would
to
do.
mean?
Yeah.
Breakdown's gonna be grateful and go up.
Mech presents a clear and present danger.
Yes.
On
100%.
right, Teuton, we intend to pull you apart.
Piece
Break
by
you down,
piece.
if you will.
Not creepy at all.
I'm afraid that you won't survive the process. Then he won't make as much noise. Open him up.
Optimus, I'm sorry. I just can't do it.
I support
You have
your
to.
choice.
What? Autobots, roll out.
Roll out.
What do you say? Creature double feature?
Sure.
Tracks.
Forget the tracks, Bumblebee.
Oh my gosh, what is that?
Dino Lizard versus Five-Headed Ape. You're missing the smackdown.
Five-headed ape.
No, you're missing the smackdown.
Breakdown and me, we go way back. You have no idea the things he's done. What?
No rescue, no rematch.
A fair response. All right. What?
Breakdown's lie.
Well,
Oh.
Optimus Prime.
Oh shit.
A pleasure to set eyes on you again. But being that our captive is not one of yours, I have to admit, I was expecting Megatron.
We don't fear you.
Exactly.
Oh, but you should. In fact, I would strongly urge that you not stand your ground.
A bomb, of course. Get out. Holy shit. Wow.
Autobots wouldn't come to rescue me.
They actually are trying. Oh. Oh shit. Is he murdering any of those guys?
For the mill.
Mm-hmm.
It must be your lucky day.
Exactly. He's like surprised, like what?
What are you doing?
Saving
Get
you.
out of here. Can you run? Never run when you can fight.
Oh, fair
Just
point.
keep that thing pointed away from me, all right?
I think he's gonna betray Bulkhead at some point.
Creature double feature coming at you.
Of course. Just driving around like crazy. Do something, come on. Oh shit. What is that? Oh. Saved him. Saved him. That shot.
Disengage and initiate Omega protocols.
Oh.
Commander Starscream, but you...
Do you plan on joining their ranks anytime soon? No? Then be done with it already.
Oh shit. Yeah, exactly. Run away. You can't handle that.
One day you will repay your debt to me, Breakdown.
Between bots and cons?
Between myself and Megatron. You do want him to think you overcame the puny humans on your own, don't you?
The test subject escaped.
Yep.
We managed to sanitize the location and transfer most of the newly acquired data.
The power of the living machines will, someday soon, belong to Mech.
There you have it, guys. Another great episode of Transformers Prime. And I said back when they first introduced Mech and Silas, the human villains, and basically brought this concept into now Transformers Prime in this show, that we can have human villains, not just Decepticons or any sort of bot-related villains or anything related to Cybertron, that they better bring these characters back soon. Like, bring back Silas, bring back this organization Mech, bring them back. And they waited a little bit, but when they brought them back, it really counted. So Operation Breakdown makes a lot of sense, because literally they kidnapped Breakdown, where Breakdown and Bulkhead were having some sort of fight in some sort of, this is like some sort of Russian town or something, or some sort of like abandoned town that had like a volcano that was active nearby. And Mech showed up, and Silas was like, take the victor, which at this point, Bulkhead was losing the fight and Breakdown was winning. They started to dissect and take apart Breakdown. Now, they took his eye, one of his eyes, and it was all a trick and everything for the giant explosion and everything for the bomb to trick Optimus and all them. But he was just there, just getting pulled apart. And it seems they got enough information from pulling from Breakdown to start some sort of Operation Chimera, some sort of, I don't know, some sort of mission, some sort of plan. They have enough information. But Silas at the end of the episode was making a point in his little like voice diary or whatever, kind of, basically giving us some more information in regards to what kind of went down and what he's setting his sights towards. He has on the giant computer, as he's talking, we see like a breakdown, like kind of an image, graphic of Breakdown. And then we have this image of Optimus Prime. Now, Optimus and Silas, there was definitely setting up some stuff there in regards to the first appearance of Silas and Mech episodes back. And now it's very clear, especially with Silas, using Breakdown's eye to talk with Optimus and seeing them in a two-way kind of video feed, that he's like, Optimus Prime, interesting. I was expecting the leader of the Decepticons or the leader of this bot, Megatron. He's setting his sights for Optimus. Whatever his plan is, whether, like, I don't even know what operation or whatever the mission is Chimera is, but I'm guessing it's relating to something he needs or wants from Optimus Prime. Because he also says, soon we'll have the capability and the actual means to fully utilize, because the whole point of taking Breakdown was to basically kill him, decipher everything from his body, and make it into futuristic weapons where Mech is basically in control. Like, right? They have the most powerful weapons. So that was interesting. Now, Bulk and Breakdown's dynamic relationship was addressed a little bit in this episode. I think they've talked about it before, but I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what's been fully discussed. But Miko was like frustrated at Bulkhead not stepping up because Optimus made the point. Yes, Breakdown was taken and he's a Decepticon, but we're Autobots and we're above that. And ultimately, like Mech, this human, organization ran by Silas, they are a common enemy with against Decepticons and Autobots. Because Mech, Silas, they don't care what side the bots are on. They don't care, right? Because they just took whoever because they could have easily picked Bulkhead if he was winning the fight. Silas would take the victor. If it was Bulkhead in this situation, he would have been taken over, Breakdown. But see, it makes it more interesting that a Decepticon was taken and Megatron's like, I ain't saving him. Like, who cares? If he was dumb enough and stupid enough to be taken by humans lesser than him, smaller than him, no. Starscream, I'm not gonna go save him. So Starscream had to go on his own and do it. But the fact that Breakdown and Decepticon was taken makes it seem more like, especially Optimus, who really had to push to make the point that we're above, this whole thing of our war and our issues between Decepticons, that we're gonna save a Decepticon. We're gonna save him, and he understood Bulkhead's point. And then, of course, I knew Bulkhead was gonna show up and everything. And of course, he actually saved him and everything. And I was waiting because it's like, okay, we have a few minutes left. Breakdown is going to turn on Bulkhead, which he does. Now, at the end, when the fight goes on, there's a lot of good action in this episode, too. Especially the opening action scene with Bulkhead and Breakdown. But especially during that final third act where they're fighting all the mech people in their cars. And some of those mech guys should have... I think they're dead. I think they literally murdered some mech soldiers in this episode. I'm pretty sure. I like the actual look of the third act in terms of where it was at night and everything, and there's some really cool shadows and just the nighttime, the visuals of it. I think it really worked for this big giant action sequence to go down between all the mech soldiers and the helicopters and stuff and cars, and that energy weapon that Silas was using on his helicopter. And of course, Breakdown and Bulkhead at one point working together and stuff. I knew the turning point was going to happen, and it was still, pretty fun to see, especially when Bulkhead threw Breakdown, he spun him around and threw him at Decepticons. It's pretty funny. But see, Starscream, he's still making a plan to overthrow Megatron. Because he even said when he was talking to Megatron, he'd turn around, not for long. Because Megatron's basically say, what I say goes, and, I'm running this, and Starscream's like, yeah, for now, not for long. And at the end when he's talking to Breakdown, you don't want Megatron to think that, that you didn't overcome the humans. You want him to think you overthrew the humans, were able to get out on your own. I don't think you want to mention this saving whole thing where I had to come save your life, or the fact that Bulkhead or Optimus, the Autobots had to save you, right? Because you have to choose. Because eventually, as Starscream is predicting, or he's hoping at some point, there's going to be picking sides. An inner war, if you will, between the Decepticons. Starscream or Megatron. Now, I think Starscream ultimately is trying to do this because he had the power at one point. Because Megatron was MIA, and then he was found, and then he's been on life support. It's kind of, just kind of hanging out, right? Just hanging out in a room. But Starscream is running Decepticons, and he wants that power back, right? I think ultimately this whole entire time Starscream's wanted this. And I think it goes to show, I think a good part about this show, a good element about this show, is something that has been handled before in other shows and everything in other films. When it comes to the villain side, in terms of ranks, in terms of who's running the villains, or in a war, who's running the bad guy side, that if you really are committed to really developing character, you can't have the second in command or the one individual that's below the kind of top dog, in this case Megatron, having that person who's lower on the totem pole, or you basically lower on the not Megatron, but right below, which is Starscream, right? And he's kind of there, and where he's kind of the right hand guy to Megatron, but the whole betrayal thing and how Megatron knows what Starscream ultimately did, all that really plays into making it more effective in the dynamic between them. But Starscream wanting that power and wanting to basically cause inner conflict within Decepticons, it adds more elements and adds more variety to the storytelling. Because if Starscream was just following what Megatron was wanting no matter what, it'd be fine, but it wouldn't be interesting or compelling. It'd be like, okay. So having Starscream become the ruler for a number of episodes, and then even finding that Megatron was still alive, and then taking the Dark Energon out of him, that shard, and then Megatron finding out later, like, it really has benefited the show, the layering they've done with the Decepticons and the power struggle. Even though ultimately if Megatron was never really fully out of commission for a while, which he was, then there would be no real power struggle for Starscream to try to get a hold of, or to try to maintain. Because he's trying to have, that's why he was saying to Breakdown, you know, you don't want to tell Megatron that, you know, what happened. You want him to think that you broke out on your own. You don't want to tell him about what happened, you know, saving your life. You don't want to tell him that. But you have to pick a side when it comes to it. My side or Megatron? So Starscream's trying to build basically an army. Because here's the thing, Decepticons, there's a lot of like just random Decepticons that have that same kind of like look, like the purple and black, you know, ones, like they have all the same design. Then there's those particular ones that are unique Decepticons, right? I think he's just trying to get all of the ones that we know as named characters on his side. So I don't know what his plan is to overthrow Megatron, but he has some sort of plan. I don't know, but he's trying to work it all out. And Soundwave's going to figure this out. Soundwave always figures stuff out. He's always like eavesdropping and listening and shit. He's always listening. As Starscream has said before, he's always listening, because he is. But yeah, so overall, I had a good time with the episode. I think Agent Fowler in the episode, which is kind of random. No Jack and no Raph. Interesting. But yeah, I think overall it was a pretty decent episode, a pretty solid episode. And I enjoyed the action sequences. And I'm curious to see where we go from here. I think this really ultimately was just continuing Mech, Silas, and setting up more Starscream, trying to build a kind of his own version of Decepticons to try to overthrow, like basically trying to start, like, do a coup, like basically to where he is going to overthrow Megatron. I think that was kind of the main point, was let's start setting this up more and more. We know it's a thing that you know, Starscream's wanting to do, but let's set it more up, and we make it more interesting where we have Breakdown captured, and then here comes Optimus and them, and then here of course comes Starscream and all that. It's a lot of back and forth, a lot of moving pieces in this episode to make it work, to set up potential storylines, including Mech and Silas, Starscream wanting to build more of a army behind him instead of Megatron to overthrow. So a lot of layers. But yeah, overall had a pretty good time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Curious to know what you guys thought about this episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.